Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk About It with Courtney. I am, of course, your host, Courtney Carroll. I am so excited to be here. So this is going to be probably a little bit different. That's what I really feel strong about. I usually record before the day of launching. I launch every Thursday. It's been really important for me to do Thursday. I think it's just essential before the weekend. And I think it's really hard to catch up on podcasts and to really even do some self-work on Monday, Tuesday. We're kind of jumping back into our work week, and we have if you have kids, you know what I'm talking about. We're getting them back into the week. So Thursdays have really been intentional for me. But for some reason, I felt strongly to record it today. Today's October 2nd. Oh my gosh, there's a train coming by my house. If you haven't listened to my podcast, I do not edit. I do not do any type of fixing my sound or anything, at least for now, which maybe this is a reminder, maybe I should consider it because there's trains. I also have dogs and cats and a toddler, but she's not around. A toddler. I say toddler. She's 4.5. I don't know how she got to 4.5, but she's 4.5. Her name's Hazel. If you haven't met her, she's amazing. But if you haven't listened to any episodes, I just try to show up as authentically as I can. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist in both North Carolina and Washington State. I am a relationship life coach, and I own a private practice called Waymark Counseling. And I started this podcast. If you haven't watched some episodes, let's catch up a little bit. This is going to be such a fun episode, I think. I felt like I needed to share more of my life experiences to help healing others that are outside of the clients that come see me in person or on Zoom. Well, Zoom now because that's kind of where I'm at this point in my life. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll have in person again. But I don't know about you, but I'm so freaking excited for October. I've made a couple social media posts about it. I am so ready for October. September was rough, if I'm being honest. And maybe if you've seen, again, those episodes, I've shared some other things that's been going on in my life, but not only for myself, my mentors, and my clients, some of my best friends have really struggled in September. And did you? I don't know. But if you did, comment and let's talk about it, right? But September, if you're into astrology at all, and this isn't to go off on a tangent or anything, but there was solar eclipses that were crazy. And honestly, all of my friends and some family, and again, all my some of my mentors, it was a crazy energy month. A lot of lows. There were some good points, of course, but I literally felt like as soon as yesterday hit, my energy went back up. And I kind of saw it with my clients, and it's pretty exciting when that happens. I saw about 4 clients yesterday, and I just feel like we're just a little bit more uplifted. I heard from one of my best friends that was really going through it. She's like, I don't know, I feel like the fog kind of lifted. And I'm like, yes, I'm so ready for that, and myself included. It has been tough, y'all. I'm in the midst of fighting with my ex-fiance about a house, and just co-parenting with my ex-husband, and him coming into town to have time with our daughter. Getting hit with different financial stuff and wondering how it's all going to work out being a single mom, and it's been intense. And what I love most about it, and it's not that misery enjoys company, but that I'm not alone in it. When one of my best friends was finally came out of the fog and reached out to me, I started crying. I was like, oh my God, I love that she's in a better place. But also that was a crazy month. And if you're not actively in therapy, by no means do I pressure you to book with me or to seek my services, but I hope you seek some help. I'm actively in weekly therapy. Yes, therapists go to therapy. Because sometimes when I don't feel like I have control, I know I never have control. It's such a weird thing. I try to distract myself. It's a habit I learned growing up and in my young adult life, and honestly throughout probably my 20s for sure, if not my early 30s too, is I'm not going to look at some self-introspection, go inside myself and ask me, why do I feel so chaotic? I can't blame astrology for everything. I can't blame eclipses for everything. I can't blame anything outside of my control, but what's that powerless feeling? And if you haven't heard about this before, anger, frustration, freaking out, fear is a secondary emotion usually. Fear is a little bit more on a primary emotion, but primary emotions are usually sadness. Am I like loneliness? I guess fear would fall into that too, I suppose, depending on the fear, in my professional opinion. And instead of avoiding my problems in September, I sat with them. What does that mean? I go to therapy on Thursdays. That's so funny. I'm just recognizing I like to release on Thursdays, and I go to therapy on Thursdays. I see my therapist in a couple hours. And what am I freaking out about? The lack of control, or like not feeling heard by my ex-husband, or support from my co-parent that I thought he was going to be. And I did an episode, and if you're going through that, please check out that episode. It's the co-parenting episode. I believe it's episode 9, if I can recall right. But what did that mean to me? What did it mean to me to not have a co-parent? That I'm alone. I thought I was not going to have to be alone in co-parenting decisions or being hit financially for things that involved my daughter directly. I thought I could rely on my co-parent. You know, I lost my husband. I lost my best friend in that marriage. I had to move on. And no offense, not my choice, you know? Like, he continuously cheated on me. And I can't, like, stay in a relationship when someone cheats on me. And when he didn't show up last month, one of the first times I ever asked him for help, that hit hard. And what I could have done instead of going to therapy is to open a bottle of wine. I could have gone out to dinner with friends and not talk about my problems. I could have distracted myself with all the TV shows, and I'm not judging watching TV. I love me a good reality show, especially The Housewives. Like, don't judge me. I love drama that I am not responsible for, and it is fun to have a distraction. But old me would have found like a new series and just distracted myself and become obsessed with it. But instead, I booked the therapy session, and even though finances were tight in September, I didn't cancel my sessions, even if they were expensive, in my opinion. Like, you know, therapy is not free, you know? And I could have canceled. I could have canceled my gym membership. I could have, fear could have controlled. That's where I get confused if it's secondary or primary. I could have canceled, I don't know, all my subscriptions or anything like that. And I said, what am I really afraid of? That I won't have money to take care of my daughter. That's never going to happen. If there's anything I've known the 4.5 years of her life, she's always been provided for. And that doesn't mean I don't need to reevaluate and look at my budget and touch base with that. And I do, and I actively do. But I can't make decisions out of fear anymore. I was scared in September. Maybe it's a scary September. September was scary, emotionally, financially, physically. I suffered like an injury with my right wrist. And it just felt like, what the frick else is going to happen? And then it was just cloudy and foggy for me in my headspace. Meditation was harder for me. And even though I kept going with it, I kept staying with it, it was hard. And that doesn't mean anything's wrong with me or that I've made horrible decisions or whatever that is. Because I used to, if I had a really bad month, I would then be mean to myself on top of it. Isn't that crazy? I'm a trained therapist. I've been in this industry, that's such a crappy word. I've been in this business and working with people for almost 10 years, and not including a million years of hospitality industry before that. And I used to then double down and be mean to myself. How did you get here? Maybe you shouldn't have moved to the other side of the country. Why would you move home? And boy, did my ex-husband want to add some of that in too. Sometimes it's my fault I moved to Washington. Is it? Wonder why I moved to Washington. But it's also not his fault. Sometimes I think the universe wants to teach us lessons, and lessons are experiences. I think I had to experience September. I kind of trudged on after I broke up with my fiance in April. And I think I just survived. I had some help with some of my family members, just really reaching out to me and supporting me. And my mentor set me up with a great therapist, and so many hands were touching me from April to now. And if you haven't watched an episode, I launched my new podcast, this podcast right here, on August 29th, which was my 36th birthday. I was so intentional about it being my birthday because I'm like, I'm leaving this year behind me, and I am going to step out on my own. And to be honest, I was not ready for September to hit right after I launched something new. I don't know about you, but it's really hard to do new things. There's a part of me that struggles doing new things that I'm not good at. I could have thought about a million different reasons not to launch my podcast on my birthday. I am currently recording on my cell phone or my computer, and I'm not using any crazy apps or anything. Like I said earlier, I'm not correcting my sound. If there's trains or my dogs bark, that's my life. But if I would have waited any longer, we wouldn't be on this episode. I wouldn't be, I think, episode 11. That's crazy. And it wouldn't have happened if I just waited for everything to be perfect. And September coming into being a hard place, I think it was intentional. Because if things would have gotten hard, I would have quit before. I don't know if that's you too. Especially in my 20s, if things are hard, I would quit and pivot. And don't get me wrong, I would not pivoting because I no longer see the purpose of it, but pivoting or changing lanes. I don't even know if it's a pivot. Pivots are great. Pivots are so good. I do it all the time. But I would have been like, I'm not doing this anymore because I'm not great at it, or it's not perfect. It has to be perfect. What the heck? Are you kidding me? Of course things aren't going to be perfect. And that's what I really wanted my podcast to be, as authentic to myself as possible. I meet my clients on my computer, which is right there, or on my phone that I'm looking at you right now. I do have dogs that bark and the cats that walk around. I have Ari, my cat, that's going to probably pop up in a second. I am not perfect. My life is not perfect. And something I think that social media teaches us is only to show the highlight reel. That is not life. I'm not saying blast your business online or share if you're struggling with your partner or whatever else online. I mean, do it if it will help heal for sure, but it's not, I'm not saying don't not throw your highlight reel on. But also, what is it? Is it really? And my cat's here. This is Ari. Hi, say Ari. And what I like about knowing, when we see people's social media, it's the highlight reel, is one, I'm glad people are going through some highs and they're having some good stuff go along in their lives. But also, I know every time I don't share with the world that I'm struggling, people just assume I'm going, everything's great in my life. When I finally left my ex-husband, so many people didn't know that our marriage struggled, that he ever cheated on me. He is such a good chameleon. And by the way, I encouraged it. I didn't want anyone to know that he cheated on me. I didn't want people to judge me. I didn't want people to judge him, because if I'm choosing to stay with him, why would I be like, hey, and here's our drama, But all my social media, all my family and friends knew was that everything was great because I posted just pictures. And I felt like ever since, I don't know, the move to Washington, it really changed me. Is I'm not going to just do that anymore. I'm going to share the hard too. I share it with my clients. Of course I do. I have to share with clients that I struggle. I don't need them to think my life's perfect and they're the only ones that need help. And I think, again, summer rolled through. Summer went by quick for me, y'all. And August, I was so excited about the launch of my business. Oh my gosh, he's driving me nuts today. And we got to September, and of course, it was a struggle. I think everything just kind of hit. I was distracted. I traveled back to North Carolina, which I feel like I want to go back soon. I've seen friends. I went to a couple concerts, and I'm like, I'm just going to stay busy. And I think September, my world kind of came crashing. The fog got thick enough to where I couldn't like maneuver through it. I had to sit in it. I had to keep my therapy appointments. I had to look at my finances. I had to learn to grieve my co-parenting relationship. I had to look at boundaries again. And what I am launching in launching in October is empathy for myself. Is that you? I'm so hard on myself, y'all. And I'm sure you are too. And sorry, my cat just tried jumping up again. I hate this. All right, lesson to myself later. I'm going to keep the cats out of my office for recording. But again, that's my life. And see, do you see that right there? I'm so glad that happened. I was just mad at myself for keeping my cat into my office. Mad at me. My cat that loves me and probably just wants to snuggle right now. Oh my gosh, that's so silly. I'm sorry, y'all. But getting back on topic, September, I had to look at everything I was grieving, experiencing, and what did it mean? I didn't run from it. I didn't distract myself, which is something, again, I used to do. And maybe you do too. So moving into October, when I feel like the energy's finally lifted, what do I want to do this month? I want to dedicate this month to not only myself, but my work with y'all, my social media, my podcasts. I am done being mad at myself that my relationship didn't work out. I am done being mad that my co-parent doesn't want to co-parent with me. I am done being mad about my circumstances right now. And I'm sure you're done and over and exhausted about like all of this shit. Like, I'm sure you're done too. September was thick and heavy and deep. And as I was mentioning, my friend was in a dark depression, and several of my clients, it was hard to work through. But I think, again, it called us to sit in the dark, sit in the thick of it, go inside and say, what am I avoiding, to the point where it became this heavy, and to a point where I couldn't run from it. I couldn't distract myself from it. In October, I'm going to love myself through it. I am. I know that sounds wild, but like, I am no longer going to be like, Courtney, don't get mad at yourself for having a cat that's in the office and your people watching on the internet are going to judge you. It's okay if you do. I have cats. I have 2 cats, 2 dogs, and a daughter, and I wouldn't change it for the world. I love having a crazy, chaotic household. Conductor of chaos, if you will. And I love that I've gotten to a place where instead of being mean to myself, I can catch myself just like I did in this video and be like, gosh, I'm also really proud of myself. I left a marriage I never thought I would have left, even if I was cheated on I don't know how many times. I left North Carolina. I fell in love, and that episode's coming soon, I think. I was able to fall in love again, and that's amazing. And despite like my relationship ending when I got to Washington in April, within days of March actually being here, I love and I'm proud of myself for leaving another relationship that I know wasn't for my highest and best, especially for my daughter and myself. That was hard. It was not easy. And I'm proud of myself for not letting people like take advantage of me like, again, being in legal stuff and hiring attorneys again. I thought I was done with that. I thought my divorce was it. And I'm going to advocate for myself and what I've done and keeping my house. And I am proud that I don't get walked over anymore. I'm proud that if I say no to something, I used to want to, like, if any time my parents or my friends or anything invited me to something, I just felt like I had to go. And I couldn't say no. And now I really respect my no's. If it's a no, I'm like, oh, I don't think I would have fun doing that. I don't go. If it sounds like a blast, it's a heck yeah. Like, even if I'm busy, I will figure it out. I will adjust and I will go because that sounds fun. And I'm really proud of myself for doing that. It did not happen overnight. I am 36. And I know that's also very young. But 3 years ago, I would have drowned myself by giving everyone a yes and not being able to show up for myself. But what I think September taught me, and what the energy of September taught me, was like, don't distract yourself. Take care of yourself. I'm dedicating October to a month of self-love, self-care, sharing my story, helping anyone that wants the help. I'm going to learn a lot. I don't know a lot about social media. I'm going to push myself and learn more because it sounds exciting. Again, I'm only going to do what excites me. My daughter's going away with her dad for a little over a week. And as much as that's unnatural and I'm going to miss my daughter a lot, and it's actually really hard for me to work with that. I'm used to having her all the time. I don't have to share her. And she's going to have the best time with her dad. And I'm going to use that time to take care of myself. I'm going to meditate. Maybe I'll book a pedicure, or I'm going to enjoy sleeping in whenever I can with my animals. Not a lot. I'm going to nurture my heart. I don't know. I'm going to get myself outside. I live in Washington State, one of the prettiest states in the world. There's so much beautiful hiking here. I want to get outside as long as the weather permits it. And I'm going to give myself compassion. I was pretty hard on myself in September, and I feel like you were too. If you're listening to this and you stayed through this and you're watching this crazy video, I think you struggled in September most likely too. But what are we going to do about it? Anything. Show love to yourself. You did the best with what the information you had. Isn't that interesting? I could go be so mad at myself for all the decisions I made. Why did I move across the country? Why did I do this? Why did I trust someone? Why? I'm so stupid. I've said those things to myself. Why did I have the audacity to reach out to my ex-husband of something that I think any normal co-parent would want to know and work with? I did it because I had the information I had. That's Hazel's dad. He should be the person I turn to. And when I got the no, I won't do it again. Not out of being mean, out of like, okay, I don't have a co-parent. Cool. I have a dad that shows up and when he wants to, and that's on him. I am not mad at myself for asking anymore. I'm not mad at myself for moving across the country. I trust that I'm meant to be in Washington. And I feel like this fall is going to really show me more. I love that I got pushed to this point of opening up to y'all and starting this podcast, even though I didn't think I was ready. And today's a perfect example of why I thought I wasn't. My house is loud. How do I live downtown Sumner. How do I keep the train away? I'm just not going to. This is who I am. I am Courtney Carroll. I am not perfect. I don't have to be. But I am working towards being the best version of myself I can be. I'm dedicating October to a month of compassion for myself, healing myself, continuing doing the therapy. I'm not canceling my therapy appointments. I'm keeping them. I'm going to do healing work. I'm going to get better at the social media thing. Not because I'm bad at it, because I'm new at it. Just those little reframes that you guys can work with. And there's something my daughter loves Gabby Cat Doll House. And if your kids do too, it's so cute. If you haven't heard on my social media, I took my nieces and my daughter on Sunday to go see it. One of my favorite things I've learned from Gabby, never thought I'd be talking about Gabby Dollhouse on my podcast. She always goes, I don't know how to do something, and she always adds the word yet. I haven't forgiven them yet. I'm sometimes mean to myself. Okay. I don't know how to quite be always nice to myself yet. I'm actively working on it, and I will get there, and so will you. If you stayed throughout this thing, thank you. We're almost at, I think, 26 minutes. And if September was hard for you, know this. If anything I talked about today is that you weren't alone. When I heard my one of my closest friends, seriously, you guys, one of my best friends leave a voice memo yesterday, I was crying. Not only because I love her, and I do, you can see I love her so much. I was so relieved she was out of the darkness, and also like I sat with the fact that we were both in the dark. And I wasn't alone. Like this month wasn't just heavy for me. And it's wild to say because like again, several of my clients, several of my mentors, like we've all been talking about this. But we made it. We made it to October. And October is going to be good because I'm going to be kind to myself. I encouraged my friend to be kind to herself. I encourage you to be kind to yourself. Fall is beautiful. Fall is beautiful. And as the trees fall, and then like look at the colors, the oranges, the greens, the browns, and look about how beautiful falling apart can be. That is what fall teaches us. And if you don't know how to do it, just add the yet. Listen to Gabby. I don't know how to do it yet. I'm not an expert yet. I haven't figured out how I am going to pay every bill yet. It is a yet, y'all. A yet. You have got this. I am with you. I stand by you. And if I can support you in any way, please comment, like, share, reach out. You can email me. All my emails is online. And I am here to be with you on this journey. And I am honored that you are with mine. Thank you for embracing my chaos, for sitting with me as like my camera freezes and my cat jumps up and the train noises and dog barks, and just thank you for being in my authenticity with me and in my life. I'm so grateful that I am here with you, and I hope that this is nothing but helpful for you. And until next time, have a great week. Hello, freaking October. Let's go. All right, guys, until next time.